FIA just did this about porpoising, and it will change everything. If you're a big fan of F1 racing and regularly check its updates, you're definitely familiar with the term porpoising, and recently, Lewis Hamilton's back pain made things more severe. But what is the whole matter, and why is the entry of FIA happening? If you want to know all about it, watch this video till the end. Hey folks, welcome back to Formula One News. Today, we'll discuss the effect of porpoising in the game and also tell you what the FIA is going to change to escape porpoising. Are you guys excited? Well, without any delay, let's dive into the video. And before we do that, make sure you please hit the bell icon and subscribe to the channel to get every single update about our channel. This year, porpoising has been a major topic of discussion in Formula One, with several drivers airing their concerns. At the Azerbaijan GP, we saw Lewis Hamilton struggling to get out of his car after the race due to a back problem, which was made worse by the bumpy street track in Baku. Even Pierre Gasly acknowledged that this could lead to long-term health problems for drivers. The governing body of Formula One, the FIA, has responded by issuing new technical directives aimed at reducing porpoising in the interest of safety. But first, let's understand what exactly is porpoising. Ground effect cars, which generate downforce by generating a low pressure space between the car's floor and the track surface, make a comeback in 2022. But this brings back one significant problem, and it's called porpoising. We've seen lots of examples of the phenomena this year, which refers to intense bouncing at fast speeds. It is caused by automobiles rapidly losing and regaining downforce. While some teams, such as Red Bull, appear to have discovered a solution to this phenomenon, others, such as Mercedes, continue to struggle with it. Increasing ride height could be one option, but it will reduce speed because teams want their vehicles to be as close to the ground as possible. Anyone familiar with Formula One knows that most teams and drivers will always choose speed over comfort, and it is for this reason that the FIA has decided to step in. In the short term, the FIA has issued two instructions to control porpoising. The first is a closer examination of the planks and skids, both in terms of design and observed wear. In other words, the FIA will examine whether the cars are hitting the ground too hard. The FIA will then develop criteria for defining an acceptable limit of vertical oscillations or bouncing. The precise mathematical formula for this metric is still being worked out, and F1 teams have been invited to weigh in. And then the FIA orders immediate car changes. One of the most difficult challenges teams have had in curing porpoising has been maintaining a stable aero platform when downforce levels on the straights climb. Some teams have had issues with the floor edges flexing down as speeds increase, resulting in an increase in downforce levels. This sounds fantastic in theory, but in practice, the extra downforce accelerates the extent to which the car is forced down onto the track, making the porpoising worse. This was the impetus behind the preseason decision to enable teams to run a single floor stay to assist stiffen the edges and limit flexing. The FIA will allow two additional measures beginning with the Canadian Grand Prix to assist teams in strengthening their floors. They'll be permitted to attach an additional stay further forward than the one already in place, something Mercedes has already done. Furthermore, teams will be allowed an additional thickness on the top surface of the floor, even if this violates local curvature restrictions or protrudes beyond the volumes established in the regulations. If these improvements provide a tangible benefit in addressing porpoising, the FIA will propose a formal rule amendment that teams can vote on before being approved by the World Motorsport Council. After car changes, FIA also takes the look at the bouncing metric. The FIA wants to know whether a car may be considered to have excessive vertical accelerations as it bounces during the Canadian Grand Prix. This will be explored first by closely examining the patterns of plank and skid wear on automobiles, as well as how some teams reduce skid wear. The FIA is also working on developing an aerodynamic oscillation metric, or AOM, to help determine whether cars are porpoising excessively. This will be performed by examining a sensor now mounted near the center of gravity in cars to assist in detecting vertical acceleration, with the goal of agreeing on an AOM value to set a maximum limit. If this is achieved in future races, teams will be required to compute their own AOM across 3 consecutive laps in Saturday morning's last free practice session without using DRS. Any laps not done at racing speed or following other cars will be discarded. Teams must retain their ride height, vertical stiffness, and aero setup for the balance of the weekend with this figure in play. Lifting the automobile if the weather changes, cooling modifications, tire pressure changes, and modifying the front wing flap angle are the sole exceptions. If a team is unable to submit a setup that meets the AOM number, they will be instructed to prepare a setup sheet with the lowest AOM feasible and to increase the static ride height by 10 millimeters. Failure to comply with the AOM number has obvious consequences. The FIA has warned teams that if their vehicles bounce excessively and exceed the established limits, they will be banned from an event. This would be done until the implementation of Article 1.3 of the 2022 F1 Technical Regulations, which deals with dangerous building. The guideline further states that the stewards may disqualify a vehicle whose construction is considered dangerous. The FIA may try to establish a metric for when the car is working on track if teams can agree on the methodologies for computing an AOM figure, which many in the paddock doubt. And after all that change, FIA also focuses on some longer-term changes. Whether or not the AOM sorting is successful, the FIA is determined to establish stronger standards for 2023 and beyond that eliminate the porpoising problem. It wants teams to help support the CFD initiative by evaluating prospective automobile changes that could help minimize the proclivity of the current generation of cars to bounce. Geometrics that will be explored might include the lifting of the floor edges, the reduction of the floor platform, the elimination of the front edge wing, and so on, Tombazis noted. We are also open to the prospect of permitting more floor stiffening via an extended stay if this is judged as useful. Talks with teams are planning for a future meeting with a technical director with the goal of initiating the process for next year's modifications. Now, let's see how these changes will impact the teams. While we still don't know exactly what the FIA wants, the new technical directives indicate that the onus is on the teams. If a team's cars are found to be bouncing too violently, they will have to change their setup or even the ride height to compensate, resulting in a direct loss of outright speed. So teams like Red Bull and Aston Martin, which don't appear to be suffering from porpoising, should be unaffected. However, teams such as Mercedes may be forced to sacrifice setup and speed to achieve this new criterion. This could have an impact on the title as well. Carlos Sainz of Ferrari has also been vocal about how much porpoising his vehicle is experiencing, so Ferrari could very well be one of the teams that will have to make setup adjustments, something the Italian team does not need when it is still dealing with engine reliability issues. But why is FIA controlling porpoising? The FIA's intervention may appear excessive, but it all comes down to safety. In a sport where participants often travel at speeds in excess of 300 kilometers an hour, the FIA said in a statement, excessive exhaustion or pain experienced by a motorist could have serious repercussions if it causes a loss of focus, according to the report. Furthermore, the FIA has expressed concern about the immediate impact on the physical health of drivers, several of whom have experienced back pain. It should be noted that the new technical directives are only intended to be band-aid remedies. In the medium term, the FIA is also working with teams to specify procedures that will prevent vehicles from bouncing aggressively on the ground in the first place. Alright folks, we're at the end of the video, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and press the bell icon so you never miss any updates. And if you have any questions or comments on your mind, let us know down below, and make sure you check out our channel where you'll find more really cool stuff.